here. So I am going to go ahead and get this party started. It is 8 o'clock. And I know there are 4 of you on job, and I will just track attendance after that. There we go. Jaime, you're here. Robert, what up, man? Looking at your smiling mug.
Morning.
Jenny, you're there. Jesse, Martinez, Luis Soltero, Robert Jensen. Hey, Martinez, are the other 2 with you?
Negative.
Okay, that's what I need to know.
I'm J1.
Yeah, I see J1. I see him. All right. Yep, I see it, Jess. Chase, Andrew. All right. That's what I need to know. All right. Good morning, everybody. Long time since we've been able to even all of us talk together.
Hey, Mario. Harry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm here too. Did you know I was here?
No, you didn't show up anywhere on my attendance list.
But I'm here.
Did you just call in? Is that why?
Yeah.
Okay, that will explain it. Because I was just looking at people on the webinar, so. Okay. We got a lot of stuff going on. I will send that. Don't worry about Luis. I don't have an issue. Oh, I was wondering where that came from. Luis was weirdly trying to take over my computer, it seems. That's scary. So, can everybody see my screen there? Should say Vim Field Service, November 2015.
Hey Mario, I'm online too. I'm on the phone. I dialed in.
All right, very good. Can everybody who's online see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Very good. So, just to let you guys know, I am trying right now, and this is a fight I've been fighting now for about at least 4 or 5 months, and I'm still fighting. I've told these guys, they're like, why aren't you having team meetings? I go, because I can't get my team together. Until you'll let me block off an entire day of non-productivity and getting my entire team together, I'm not holding a team meeting. It's counterproductive. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And so I got John on board. I think we finally have Brett on board, and we're going to be able to go ahead and get everybody together, so we'll be able to go back to Rio Doso and do that. So that was actually a pretty fun trip. So we're getting that happen. I don't know what the weather's doing everywhere else, but I do know we have about 6 to 8 inches of snow on my front yard right now. So winter, she is here. We were in Albuquerque day before yesterday, and I saw you that we got good snow there, and then the next day it was gone. But winter's coming, so be careful, guys. We're going to go over that during the safety portion, but it's always a concern for me. If any of you guys have anything during this meeting to bring up, talk about anything like that, I have a handy dandy notepad so I can write it down and find answers for everybody. If not, or you guys can just email me or chat or what have you, that is acceptable too. I don't have a problem with that. So let us get on. Like I said, it'll probably be, I'm shooting for January to have the meeting in Rio Doso. We won't be having one next week, but I mean next month, but we will be, but we'll go ahead and plan on January to try to get to Rio Doso. and do something over there. Fall 7 times, but stand up 8. Nice little victory quote right there. Right? It's not how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get back up to count. As long as we get up one more time than we get knocked down, then we're in good shape. I'll tell you right now, we got knocked down pretty good. So at the beginning of the week, once I sent out an email to everybody saying that we were the #1 ranked team in the West in Canada. And when that report came out, we were. It was awesome. I ain't gonna lie. You know, we're all been kind of the underdogs as far as being able to get, you know, as far as people believe in us on stuff. I'll say this, John believes in us. You know, the other managers in the West believe that we can do it because we literally were dominant for such a long time. Outside of that, we've been getting our way to the top. To finally reach the top was pretty awesome. Hold on a second. What's that, Luis? Can you talk, Luis? Because I can't read the chat for some reason.
I don't know if that's where you're at or if you're like reading slides and quotes.
No, does it say fall 7 times, stand up 8 on your guys'
No, it just says thank you. Slide 36.
What?
Yeah.
That is weird. It definitely shouldn't say that. I don't even have that on my computer.
Are you using your phone?
To talk.
No, I'm using a computer.
Okay. Because mine says thank you and I'm on the phone, so I'm about to try to get on my computer right now. See if that goes.
My computer says thank you.
Everybody says thank you. All right. I just closed everything right now. Does it still say thank you?
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Weird.
You closed it.
Okay. But let's see here. Oh crap! I didn't save it. That's an idiot. Okay. Hang on a second. I gotta go find that PowerPoint again. And I edited it and everything, and I just erased it because I'm an idiot. On occasion. That's fine. There we go. Now what do you guys see on your screen?
Nothing.
Nothing.
It says November meeting.
I think you have 2 screens.
How about now?
There you go.
7 field service?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good. All right. Now, fall 7 times, stand up 8. Sorry about that. I'm old. Sometimes this new computer technology stuff kicks my butt off. So, once again, we were #1. Now we're down to #5. Our biggest detractor is, honestly, our first-time service rate. I got a report I will be sending out as soon as we get off this call. Just like I did last week, it has every service call that had a second call to it. I sorted it by your guys' names. So you can go in there. If your name's on there, just slide to the right. It'll tell you what the second root cause was. so we can try to, so you can take a look individually and see what you can do to, maybe what you could have done to correct that problem and avoid that second trip. Some of them are going to be avoidable. Some of them aren't going to be avoidable, quite honestly. But we're at like 84%, which is pretty darn low. So we want to make sure that we can be up in the 90s, and I know we can because we've been there before. So falling 7 times, we're on top. We fell down, now it's time to get back up, right? As long as we get up one more time, then we fall down, we'll be fine. And that's something that New Mexico has always done. November focus. Talk about that right now. We're going to be going over all of these things right now. We're going to be focusing on, like I said, we want to work on our FTSR, our first-time service rate. That's within 30 days, right? If you have a call and you go to and somebody has to go back to that house within 30 days, that's going to count against that first-time service rate. NPS, we'll talk about that because I'll tell you what's going on with the NPS. Then we're going to also take a look at inventory, late starts, and safety. And those are big ones right there. Oh, and VCE usage, sorry about that, and daily install rate. So, Field Fest. It was here. It was gone. It was pretty awesome. Obviously, we paid out a lot more money last year. Obviously, we all know the trouble that happened when we spent that much money last year. But we still paid out, I think, about $250,000 in cash and prizes to everybody in the field. So that was very cool. And we did break a record. We have never in the history of Pivot installed more accounts in a month than we did last month. So good job, guys. I really appreciate your efforts on that. There was only one region that installed, there was only one team in our region that installed more installs than we did, and they only did like 2 more. I mean, it was really close. So good job. I really do appreciate you guys' efforts on that. That was awesome. We got those in. Something that's new. We, as a company and as a department, have our own Instagram account. We're asking everybody to follow Field Service on Instagram. So here's the instruction of how to do that. I haven't done it yet. I'm going to do it today as well. But sign up. Go and use your work email if you want to. Make sure that your username is going to be something they can identify you by because they have to approve to add you on. And you're going to want to do that. One of the things they're going to start doing, and they've already done a couple of times with the leadership, is they're having competitions. And in order to win the competition, you have to post a quick video on Instagram. So I'll be sending this deck out to all of you guys as soon as this meeting's done. So the instructions are right here on how to set up your own Instagram account. So go ahead and, the format's right there. So like I said, just go to Instagram, create an account, use your work mail for your handle or username. Just put it, your first initial, your last name, and start it with FS, so Field Service, right? So their example there is FSW Smith, so mine would be FSM Trujillo, and etc. Enough on that. By the way, my goal is that this doesn't take the full 3 hours. So, Field Fest. 6 weeks this week, which is kind of cool. Yeah, they gave away over $250,000. 58 FSMs, 42 days, 825 of you guys made that happen. That is just an insane amount of help of people working. That was the competitions. That was the grand prize. Hopefully you guys all tuned in to see who won and everything like that. Something that was very cool. In service, that $5,000 team prize actually went to somebody in the West 1 region, Colorado. That same team up in Colorado got that. So they all got to split that $5,000 team prize, and that was really cool. All right, let's talk about Space Monkey. This is kind of interesting right here because according to data company-wide, they're only able to bring the Space Monkey devices online only 61% of the time. We're at about, we range anywhere from 90 to 100%. So you guys are really doing a good job getting these on. So thank you for that. I really do appreciate it. One thing that they're saying to do to verify that it's sending and receiving signals to make sure at least one of the customer's photos or videos has been successfully uploaded. And that's a good way to test to make sure everything's signed up. So I don't know if you guys are doing that. Whatever you guys are doing, you're doing it well. So keep it up by all means. Inventory. So we're going to talk about inventory. We are killing it. Okay. Bi-weekly RMAs. That's what we need to be doing. I know this says weekly RMAs, but we're doing it bi-weekly. We want everything sent back on Tuesdays and Fridays. Or Wednesdays and Fridays. I don't care which of those 2 days you choose, but at least twice a week we need to get those RMAs back in. We have consistently maintained the highest percentage of RMA returns, and we're maintaining that 100%. We're getting everything in, so we want to keep that up. A couple of tips on this, and this will help with your reconciliations too. If you have bad inventory, when you're on hand, get that pulled directly into your bad on-hand counts when you're on the phone with data entry, okay? Don't forget to use your bad equipment stickers and label it so it has the service number, and also label it, or if it was bad out of the box, label it that way. But twice a week, we got to get those RMAs sent back 100% of the time. Also, let me stay on here real quick and talk about reconciliation. I'll be calling you guys. We can do a reconciliation together. I've already done that for a few of you guys. We got to do a little bit differently this time. So if I call you guys and say, hey, we got to do a reconciliation, I'm going to FaceTime you so we can go and do the reconciliation. And then I'm going to pull up and I'm going to open it on my screen. So the new way that they're doing audits now is they actually just pull my screen and see who all I did a reconciliation with. So they do that all virtually. So that's the way we're going to be doing that is, once again, I'm just going to pull it. I'll call you, let you see if you're ready. We'll FaceTime it, and we'll go through the counts. You'll tell me how many you have. I'll enter everything in, good, bad, ugly, what have you. Go all the way through, and then we'll go ahead and submit it that way. So be ready for that phone call. They will be starting shortly. Like I said, they've already started. Some of you guys have already gotten to do that. So with me. And Fridays. We always do a reconciliation on Friday, no matter what. If you're off on a Friday, do it the Thursday before. But it has to be done every Friday or the Wednesday before, or whatever your last day working is, because you're on vacation. Do it the following day. I mean, do it the day before you leave, and then do it immediately when you get back, because we cannot go more than 7 days. Cannot happen. Okay, let's talk about Vivint certified equipment. If you receive a piece out of the box, that's going to a specific company. So we received that back from a company who went through and they put a sticker on it that they certified it was good and everything's great. If you take a look, there's a picture right there of a sticker that should be on every piece of refurbished equipment that looks like it's off of a door lock. So take a picture of that QG sticker, send an email, subject to BCEOOB defect, subject line, and you need to send it to these 3 people, right? Rebecca Schwendeman, Brett Moulton, and Justin McClellan. And then just RMA that equipment, right? You want to make sure that they are getting that email and stuff, because they're going to hold that company accountable for that. And that company's actually been going back and finding, you know, there's someone on there they can track who's the one who certified that it was good, and they'll send it straight back to them. Any questions so far? Anybody? Pretty simple. Okay. Data center glass reconciliation. We just talked about this. It has to be within 7 days. Period, period, period. It has to happen. As you can tell there, we're at 91%. I can tell you the reason we're at 91% is 100% because of our team. The only team that is not compliant in this 100% of the time is the New Mexico team.
Hey, Mario, dude, there's a lot of feedback. Somebody's not muted out.
That's not me. There we go. Is that better?
Somebody that's on a phone.
That's on the phone. Somebody's got some background noise going on. It sounds like dogs.
Yeah, whoever's on the phone, make sure you're muted.
Hey, whoever's on the phone, if you got dogs barking in the background or something, could you mute yourself, please? Thank you. Maybe I spoke too soon. All right. So anyway, like I said, as you see there, our team's the second or third lowest region. Whoever's got dogs in the background, you know, I'm not sure that is dogs. It seems to kick up after I've been talking.
It's somebody driving.
All right, whoever's driving, could you go ahead and just mute the phone? That would be awesome. Thanks. Android 10D, can I just mute everyone? If I can. I'm not positive as I can, to be honest with you.
shouldn't have to. Everybody can just mute themselves.
Everybody should be able to mute themselves.
Unfortunately, someone's obviously not paying attention.
Obviously. Interesting. I'll try to go through them. Okay, once again, guys, we got to get up to 100% on the day since last reconciliation. Really, like I said, it doesn't even take all the numbers over there. If anybody has trouble creating a reminder on their Outlook calendar, let me know. I will create that reminder. Let me ask you guys, would it be easier if I just created an event for everybody on Friday morning to do a reconciliation?
Maybe a reminder for like in the afternoon in case you haven't done it and you're already doing your own thing, you get that reminder.
Okay.
I think it's, I mean, it's not a matter of needing to be reminded, at least in my opinion. It's just sometimes Fridays are busy because it's one of our busiest days of the week. So sometimes you just gets to be, you get home at 7:30 at the end of the day and it's cold and dark outside. I mean, I get it done, but I could just see that being an issue.
I agree. Friday's probably the worst day to have to reconcile on.
Unfortunately, though, Friday is the only day where everybody's working. So here's the deal. Okay, we got to come up with a plan here. My original plan was all of you guys are adults and y'all can take care of it and just get it done. At least don't let it go more than 7 days, right? And that was proven to be 100% ineffective. It was embarrassing the numbers on the team that couldn't count to 7 and get it done within 7 days. There was 1 week where literally only 3 of you guys got it done within 7 days. And that was a lot of fun because that happened to be the day that I was actually in Provo. So that's when I set a set day for everybody to do it, and I did it on a work day that I knew everybody was working. So, is there a day that would be better? Somebody just suggested that I just put a small block on the schedule for everybody. Would that work on Fridays?
That'd be way better.
So like 30 minutes? At the beginning of everybody's shift?
Well, would that really change anything? I mean, if you put a 30-minute block, still going to get, you know, like 8 to 10 appointments, right? Which really kind of would still be the same thing. It would get in the way of having any time to do it.
Well, I guess my question is, so if you know exactly what you have in the inventory, right, and everything's there, so all you got to do is just count it real quick. Should it take longer than 30 minutes?
No, definitely not, but
I guess that would be a little bit better just in the sense that if we did do it at the beginning of our shift, we wouldn't have to worry about putting ourselves in travel on a job that we're not really on our way to travel on. So better off, I'll take what I can get. It's better than what we have right now.
What about everybody just choosing their day, emailing you by the end of the meeting, and being responsible for that day? No blocks. I think it's getting a little bit too regulated. Just handle your business. We tell you what day it's going to be, and that's the day we do it. If not, then we have repercussions.
I don't have a problem with that.
That
Does anybody
sounds
else
like a
have
good
any?
idea.
Does that sound like a good idea? All right. So there we go then. That's what we'll do then. Is I end the shift today. I'll have everybody email me their recon day, their reconciliation day. And I will create a schedule right there, and I mean a note on the schedule, and we'll get that taken care of. Piece o' cake, good way to handle it. And then we can get back up to our 100%. So that would make me happy. Let's see. Was on. Alrighty. I'm 100% down with that. Yeah, I just said down. So I got it down, so that works. Good idea, Robert. October lost found usage ratio at a 0.3 for John Ray. I will tell you, we were at 22% lost. It was horrible. We fixed that problem. I dug into that day before yesterday, found the issue. We did a virtual reconciliation real quick, and we found it. There's a few other people that are on there. Once again, by this point, we should be at 0-0. There really should be no reason not to be. So, once again, just if you're using that ad pool in real time, when you're on the phone with them, you're utilizing fixed parts correctly. What other issues are you guys finding on this that are preventing us from being at 0-0? Anybody?
The only issue I have had, but I got it fixed, is sometimes getting things force received, even though I'm emailing them telling that I haven't got the package. But later on I get the package, so it works, but that's the only issue I've had.
Yeah, I got that. I got an issue. I got a phone call yesterday from one of y'all saying that, yeah, you had gotten an email saying things were going to be force received, but, you know, fortunately, that package was on the truck to be delivered that day. But I know they responded, and I sent an email to them too, saying, hey, you can't force receive something that hasn't been sent. You know, here's the tracking number. So I've been pining with that, and that's something that I'm bringing up, that I'm running up the chain too. Is these guys are threatening to force receive, but they're not checking the tracking numbers. If we can check the tracking numbers, then they should be able to too, right?
Correct.
So yeah, I could definitely see that being an issue. Anything else as far as that goes?
I've actually recently gotten a few forced to receive emails when I have like no orders to receive.
Okay, when you get those, once again, let me know, because I want to get those banged out, right? I want to get those addressed so we can figure out what's going on, because that is a problem that I really have a problem with, and I'm curious as to whether or not, see, I'd be curious because I know that there's been times when they've gotten Jesse Mortensen and Jesse Martinez mixed up, right?
Right.
And so I want to know if that's what's going on.
Another issue that I have sometimes is like I'm off on the weekend, and then all of a sudden Sunday morning, it says that I used something on Saturday, or no, what is it, Monday morning, and say I used something on Sunday. And I don't realize it until I get to the reconciliation on Friday, and it doesn't give me time to do a fixed parts, but at that point I'm at -1, and I have no chance to, it just zeroes it out automatically.
Okay, so okay, repeat that again real quick, because I think I understood it, but I want to make sure. Could you repeat exactly what the issue is again?
Yeah, so, on Monday morning, I wake up. I obviously don't work on Sundays. And so Monday morning, it said that on Sunday I used a 220T repeater. Well, I had 0 of those at the time, so it put me at -1. And I didn't realize that until when I was going in there to reconcile on Friday. It said I had -1, and there's no way to fix that, like, on the spot. So when I do my reconciliation and put that I have 0, like I actually do, it counts me as losing in 220.
Yeah, but wouldn't you have been at 1 from the previous Friday?
I never had one in the first place. So when it took one out of my inventory that I didn't have, that I already had 0 of, it puts me at -1.
So you're saying you never used it at all?
Never used it, never had it.
So somehow, whatever account, so it says that you used it on an account.
That's correct.
But you were using your ad pool on your iPad the entire time, so...
It was a job that I wasn't even at.
What? Okay, yeah, no, that's a huge problem. So, yeah, I need to know about those, right? So when that happens, yeah, you let me know, and you let me know that account and stuff, because, yeah, we need to dig into that. That's a huge problem. That needs to be fixed like ASAP.
Okay.
So a lot of these things, yeah, so we have control.
I've seen that.
Very first thing, oh, go ahead.
Dude, no, I was going to say, man, I've seen that happen too, and no telling how many times that's happened and nobody catches it.
Okay, so when you catch it,
it's just a data entry error.
Once again, when you catch it, screenshot it, send it to me. So I have that data so I can run it up. I'll tell you what, when I took a look at our loss found and just about had a dang heart attack, because we were like over $5,000, we were like $5,700 lost, right? I started stroking out right there. So I got on the phone with Elizabeth Taylor, and I mean, she was quick to going, that's weird. And I'm like, yeah. So we dug into it, and we found most of it. Not all of it, but most of it. We still have some stuff that we have to dig into and find and to get ourselves to where we should be. But I think that, yeah, if we have those issues coming up, get them to me. I will march them up. And I know Liz is like, this is Liz's life, is getting this problems resolved. So we can make sure that we can be, that we're getting good, accurate data as far as inventory loss found and stuff like that. I mean, there's literally, out of that $5,700, there's like 4,000 that were just wrong. It was like there was some phantom data in there too. So, the equipment had never existed in the first place. So I'm like, how do you lose something that wasn't ever there? And then once we were able to go in and do the research and prove it, that's an easy problem to fix, right? But, and it took a little bit of time on both of our parts to get done, but we got done. So just a matter of when something like that happens, let me know, and we will do what we need to do to fix the problem. I know and we need to, okay, how many of you guys have been getting emails? Well, you guys just said they've been sent, you've been getting force receive emails on when you have discrepancies in the orders that are shipped. How many of you guys have been, other you guys been having that problem too?
Yes, I have. I've been having that problem too, Mario.
All right, Eric. So,
And that's
yeah,
Same here.
That's how my inventory kind of got all messed up.
okay. So yeah, we need to get those issues right addressed too. So yeah, that was part of that phantom inventory, right? Problem was, I was taking a look and just like I said, getting ready to stroke out over the amount of lost inventory. But if they're not even shipping the right amounts of inventory and they're just writing things down, then they need to do the research on the inventory side to find that. But it's up to us as people receiving it to catch it and get it taken care of. Obviously, they're not addressing your guys' concern in a timely manner. I promise you, if you send it to me, I have a nice, subtle way of communicating that seems to work pretty well. Okay, maybe subtle isn't the exact right word, but it gets the job done. So we will go ahead and start getting those fixed. So when you get those, let me know, please. And I promise you, I'll be on it. So let's see here. Next, and we all know this, right? Refurbished inventory now known as Vivint Certified. You guys have been doing a good job of that. I know because, believe it or not, they are actually running a stat now. Whenever an FSP calls in and uses the words refurbished, they actually mark that down. At the same time, though, they're also getting held. Their feet are getting held to the fire back in Provo for using the word refurbished as well. It's Vivint Certified, and that's what it is. This is an awesome thing right here. This next screen. This is how much we have saved by using the certified equipment. $314,000 was saved in September. We saved way more than that in October. We are running at about between 106 to 110% above our goal as far as using Vivint Certified, so that's huge. That is absolutely mammoth. So good job, guys. I'm taking a look, and very rarely, if ever anymore, am I not seeing 100% usage on the Vivint Certified equipment. So good job. Keep it up. My favorite response was actually from Andrew. Remember when I called you guys like 2 or 3 times within 2 or 3 days? And I liked Andrew's viewpoint on it. To me, it was just very poignant and true. I hadn't looked at it that way. Once he explained it, it made sense to me. And correct me if I'm wrong, Andrew, but I think you told me you love using the Vivint Certified because it's the only piece of equipment you know for a fact has been looked at and tested.
Yeah, essentially. It's the only piece that's been like personally tested to make sure that it works.
So there you go. Like I said, I hadn't looked at it that way until he mentioned it, and I was like, no, that's a good point. Well said, sir. Well said. So, see, 314 year to date. I thought this was awesome. we've saved 1.4 million, a little over 1.4 million dollars. So that's huge amount of money. And that was as of the end of September. Like I said, I know we're well, I think we're close to, I think we're actually at $2 million as far as by the end of October for that. So, good job. Training updates. Has anybody on the team had to integrate a Nest yet? No. Okay.
You mean have we added one?
Have you had to add one yet? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I added one.
How did it go?
Takes a little bit. You have to get, whenever you try to do it, I don't know if anybody's tried it, but whenever you try to do it, it asks for like a certain pin that comes with their Nest system. You just put it in, and it takes a little bit to load, and then it'll finally just link it. And it does nothing changes. I mean, it looks exactly like when we had one of our thermostats, but it just controls with Nest.
Okay. There's a couple of links over here too, so that if you need help and stuff like that, they'll be on there, so you guys can learn that. But good. I'm glad at least somebody has. So gracias Matt, for your insight there. It's very cool. This is live. Jesse, you've had this for a while, right? On yours, the training app? Martinez?
Yeah.
Yeah? Have you used it?
Honestly, no. I looked at it and I want to start using it a little bit, but I click better with customers, and I feel like it gives me a better chance to get a good a good review from the customer, because they tend to like being talked to, one-on-one a little bit.
Okay. Well, an interesting fact, and you'll be on the next slide here. So this is what the new training app looks like on your iPad. You can go ahead and access it. I'm going to ask you guys to please start using it with your customers.
Mine won't open. I downloaded it, but it won't open when I click on it.
What error does it give you?
It doesn't give me an error. It just kicks me back out.
Okay. Get with tech support. They actually have a part of tech support that's dedicated to the iPads and stuff, and see what's going on with that. Yeah, I'm saying that too. So, okay, Ralph, that's not good. You guys need to be using the iPad. If you're not at 0-0 with your inventory, then you're not using the iPad the way you're supposed to, right? I just got a chat there that said they haven't used their iPad in more than a month. It's a good tool, man. So this right here is so you can set up, and the next slide tells you best practices for this. So you do the walkthrough, you explain, what's going to go on while you're doing the install. Have them watch these first 3 videos. Go to the viewing videos right there and have them watch the first 3, and they'll start their reputation. Those can do it while you're doing your installation. Right? There's a whole bunch of different videos there that are optional, so they can take a look. But it'll really help you guys out on your customer education. On service calls, after you go after what you're there to fix, you ask them if they have any questions, stuff like that. If there's a video that pertains to it while you're making the fix, you can have them watch that video, right? So, you have that. But an interesting statistic. Remember I said we need to improve our FTSR because we're kind of towards the bottom on that? The only people that had the training apps up to here recently were the trainers. So figure one to two per regions per team. So that's what, about 80 team trainers roughly, and there was a 2% drop in calls from the region. If we do that 100%, you do the multiplication, that's a huge reduction in calls right there, which in turn means our first-time service rate is going to go up. It says right here, they're going to be able to track the number of videos viewed. So they will be doing that. Right now they can't narrow it down to the FSPs, but we have asked that they at least get it down to the team level. So, you know, I can know whether or not y'all are using the apps, and if not, we can get together and see what other training is necessary and stuff like that. But please use those customer education videos. They're actually pretty well made. I've taken a look at most of them, and I think they can help you guys out a lot. Also, the post-install survey now has the following question. One of the videos is all about how to get online support at support.vivint.com, okay? And one of the questions is going to be, did the FSP show you how to access additional resources and support content about your system directly from your Vivint app and from support.vivint.com? So please use that app and at least show them that one, right? Because that is going to be a question. And once again, I'd encourage all of you guys to go ahead and watch them. Watch those videos. They actually are pretty good. And, you know, if you're like Jesse and you like to do the, you know, you're more of a one-on-one visit with the people and stuff, at least have them watch that one video. But watching the videos yourself might give you something that you might have forgotten or you're leaving out of the customer education. So let's do what we can to maximize that. We don't expedite our FSPs. Obviously, the FP1 is on the iPad. Is anybody having troubles downloading or accessing the FP1 manual on the iPad?
Yeah, I had gotten just how the Vivint one isn't working. The customer thing isn't working on my iPad. When it had sent me like that I needed to update it, and when I updated it, none of my stuff is working. Like the simulator, the FP1, none of that stuff is working on mine at all.
Okay, shoot an email to Riley Spears.
Okay.
Okay, and let them know about that. Okay, certifying FSPs. So I know Jesse Martinez does most of the ride-along training for the new hires and stuff like that. Here is a huge thing that they're seeing when people are going to go get certified. They're seeing a big drop of new hires that never see paperwork, takeovers, thermostats, the apps, inventory, you know. So we need to make sure, and I'll get with you one-on-one with this, Jesse, and stuff like that, but we need to actually go over and just make sure that all this stuff going. I know you are going through all this stuff, but if there's any other tools or anything you need, we'll get together with that, and anything I can do on my end to help you, I am all in on this, okay?
Sounds good.
So like I said, we've done really good with our team and everything like that, so I want to thank Jesse, and I know there's been times that once in Ralph, you've been asked to help him out too, so thank you for that. But all in all, we're doing good. We just want to make sure everything's tight. Also, something that's going to be allow Jesse to be more effective as a team trainer right here is we've allotted 1 day a month that he's allowed to go out and do ride-alongs with you guys and stuff. So if anybody's having any kind of issue or anything that they're struggling with or anything, feel free to reach out to me and Jesse Martinez, and we will arrange a day for him to go and spend with you and all that fun stuff. So You did catch that at the last training webinar, right, Jesse?
That's correct.
Yep. So now we come to the training portion. And if anybody has anything to add to this section as we're going along with it, by all means, feel free to jump in. I love the fact that they actually used the CT30 as the thermostat in this picture. Kind of made me throw up in my mouth a little bit, but I got past it. So Z-Wave. Right now it actually is the most popular smart home wireless communication protocol. But there's a lot of other ones coming up, right? So we know we use Z-Wave to communicate with basically everything, right? It is our life. We're at 900 megahertz. So it says it can be affected by interference like baby monitors. You know, I think there's still some 900 megahertz wireless phones that can cause it. I know that there was a house in Grand Junction that it was actually the air traffic control tower was knocking off the Z-Wave. And I know that there's a brand of universal remote, I believe it's called Infinity. Is that correct? Can anybody either confirm or deny that for me? That operates at 900 megahertz? That will knock it off. Can anybody think of anything else that they've seen that causes that interference? Anybody? Nobody. Okay. Now, you notice they have the lamp modules there to use as a repeater. They do work. It's just you have to go. This has been a source of debate amongst the team for a while. I know for a fact it does work. It's just the process of how it works that can be. It's how you program it in as to whether or not it's going to work or not. So we're going to go into that. So it works with mesh technology, so everything's kind of interlinked. If you take a look at the way those arrows are working there, it has going, you know, the lock communicating directly to the panel directly to the lock, also lock going to the lamp module, which is being used as a repeater in this example, and then over to the panel and then back, right? So this has happened before. Devices learn about their neighbors. The device is added in, right? Next door neighbor has smart panels, and when you're learning it in, it has some Z-Wave devices, and when that device is added in, it'll pull the number from the neighbor's equipment. So there you go. You have the first device. Door lock and the panel communicate directly with each other. You have the lighting module. The lighting module learns about the lock and the panel. Yeah, it is, Rob. The lighting module communicates to and from the panel and door lock, but the lock is still communicating to the panel, so it's receiving extra signal, right? So the panel communicates to the lock through the lighting module, but the lock communicates to the panel directly. So it looks like the lock is out of range. So basically what we have to do is we need to rediscover all the networks. And I don't know about y'all, but I know obviously when I was still in the field, it was all go control. but that was like kind of an automatic thing that I always just used to always do, right? Because I just go in and automatically rediscover the network because it just saves a lot of time. So that's what's saying right here, rediscover networks, because that's going to reestablish all the routes between the devices. Go to the Z-Wave. The user can do it from the settings in the Z-Wave. You can do it from the installer toolbox in the Z-Wave, and customer care can run the Platinum. So there's 3 different ways that we can rediscover that network, but I always recommend rediscovering the networks. It just saves time and effort. This is something that we just found out. We just got this Monday on the manager's call right here. Training came on. So now you know the Z-Wave network will work optimally. There's a Z-Wave diagnostic test, right? The diagnostic will test communication with all devices, right? Each device pings the panel 60 times to test network. It'll give you a health score between 1 and 10. In order for it to pass, it has to have a score of 8 or higher, 8, 9, or 10. And what it's going to do is it goes through all those nodes. Whatever the lowest score is, that's the health score. So if you have 6 devices, 5 of them have a 10, 1 of them has a 7, your health score is going to be 7. Down here it gives you all the information that's on that diagnostics page. So the node ID, that's network ID for the panel itself. You can look up each node. You just check network and view all nodes, and it'll actually show you, right, all the nodes. I'm sure you guys need that. Errors, the number of pings that failed, how many times it changed route during the test, the last working route, the node IDs of any neighboring nodes, and any node IDs of repeating neighboring nodes. So if there's a repeater, then there you go. Here's what it looks like. Bada bing, bada bing. Here's what you're worried about right here. So you can take a look at each node. So your overall health on this one was a 9. You saw the first node there has a health score of 9, second one a 10, third one a 10. Overall, it's a 9. So that is a passing node. Here's what it looks like when you first pull it up on the installer toolbox. It'll give you the overall health. And as you can see right there, it shows that 8, 9, 10, and 9. So the lowest one is always going to be what your overall health is. Gravy? Okay, I need to clear all this. I did not realize. There we go. So, add all devices, right? We all know there's some devices where you have to have the device close to the panel. General rule of thumb, I always figured it's just easier to do that. So put in all of them, then rediscover the network. So put in all the devices, then just rediscover the network. Like I said, it's something I've always done. It just saves a lot of time and it saves a lot of heartache later on. You run the installer test. If you haven't already run it, it will tell you to rediscover the networks then. It'll run. Failure to score an 8 or better means you're probably going to have to install a repeater. So you add the repeater, then you rerun, rediscover the networks, and that should allow that module to actually work as a repeater. and those scores are monitored from the platform, so they'll be able to see it when you call it in. Questions about Z-Wave? None?
I got one question. What
Yes,
if you can't get it up to an 8? Like for instance, that mansion that we installed at, they had they wanted all their thermostats to match, so they had us do 11 thermostats.
Right.
But their house was so big that it didn't matter how many repeaters we added because, I mean, one of the things that people think is that we can only use 2 repeaters, but it's really you can use more than 2 repeaters. You can only use 2 in one direction to add to that direction, but you can add 2 going one way, 2 going the other way, 2 going the other way. But that still didn't fix it at this house. So would that mean that we're not supposed to do those Z-Wave devices and we have to pull them out?
Good question. According to the information we had right now, the answer is yes to that. But what was your lowest score on that house?
I cannot tell you that because that was like a year and a half ago. I don't quite remember.
Yeah.
But I just know that we had to replace the panel, and there was they're still having Z-Wave issues. I mean, there's not a whole lot we can do to fix it, in my opinion.
Okay.
Marty, answer your door.
Hey, Marty, let Jesse in.
Okay, I will.
But I don't know. Let me check on that, right? Let's see if they want us to remove them or not. On a new install, they're saying that they don't want it installed if that is the case, if it's lower. But obviously that mansion was a one-off. I mean, that's the most insane install in Vivint history. So let me get a definitive answer for you on that. I just wrote it down, okay?
Okay.
Let's figure that out. Anybody else? Okay. Driver safety, fleet. Today to talk about signs, signals, and markings. I thought this was a pretty scary stat. 40% of accidents in a Vivint vehicle are incidents related to traffic signs, signals, and markings. Martinez, when you were in your little fender bender, somebody ran a red light, right?
You're unmuted on my.
Yeah.
Yeah. See? Once again. When you were in your accident, you were at a complete stop, right? And another vehicle plowed you from the back. Ralph? Ralph? Okay.
He said yes.
Yes. Okay. Cool. So, yeah, right? Not necessarily that they're all avoidable. It's just that's what happens. On both of those, right? We had the right-of-way and everything like that. We're proceeding with caution like we normally do, and it just happened. So, out of those 47%, 4 out of 5, so 80% of those are attributed to disobeyed traffic lights indicating the driver should reduce speeds or come to a complete stop. We were stopped or we were going where we were supposed to. The other person just didn't think it applied to them. Traffic signs and signals are set up to keep roads and drivers safe. We knew that. Now, as long as we are keeping our eyes on the pin and stuff, I tell her, you know, I've told you guys this before, and I mean it from my heart, right? I'm not concerned about y'all's driving. I'm sure you guys are good drivers. I know that because we've never had an accident on our team. However, we need to always keep our heads on the swivel because I don't trust the guys around me. Interesting statistic in San Juan County, where you live, Andrew. 20% of all drivers on the road in San Juan County at any time during the day is legally intoxicated.
Yeah, they're proud that only 9 in 10 high school students drink and drive in Shiprock.
There you go. See? Yeah, I mean,
only 9 in 10 don't drink and drive, I guess.
Yeah, when I lived there, right, it was like you go to a busy intersection, so you have 4-lane traffic plus a turning lane, so that's what, 5, 10, 20 people at a 4-way stop. Out of those 20 people, right, 5 of them or 4 of them were drunk, statistically speaking.
Yeah, the drivers here are special.
Yeah. So, you know, I can't imagine that it's that much different anywhere else, right? Once again, Albuquerque. I mean, at least I think you guys are down to once a week being featured on Cops, so that's not bad. Every time I go to Cruces, I swear somebody almost plows me. Yeah, you know, everywhere. I mean, I've been to all y'all's towns, and, you know, Clovis and Hobbs, y'all have Texans there, and, well, enough said on that subject matter. Keep your heads on a swivel, guys. When I used to teach defensive driving, I used to tell everybody, I go, those guys should be moving from sidewalk to sidewalk while you're driving the entire time, because you never know what's going to happen or who's going to come flying out. Fleet department receives at least 5 driver complaints per month reporting inappropriate driver behavior. Those complaints are escalated to your management and department leadership. I know you guys have also been doing a good job because my phone hasn't rung about this. Last time it did was over a year ago. So keep up your good work, but also be careful, right? Be careful, keep your head on a swivel. Very important. Okay, team topics. I didn't have anything specific for this necessarily. I did want to talk about a couple of things. Number 1, daily install rate. We're finally above 90%, which is awesome. I think we're at 91% right now, which is good. You know, a few teams above us right now are Nick's team in Yellow, Texas, and Georgia's team, which is El Paso and Midland. I'm sorry, El Paso and Odessa. He's actually at 100% install rate right now. Like I said, we're at 91. Once again, if we're making our pre-calls the night before and getting a hold of those customers, we should be at almost 100%, right? If we're looking at look ahead on schedule, you know, as far as you can, and seeing what installs we have, make sure we're prepared for those and everything, we should be at damn near 100%. Being in the 90s for the first time, like ever, is amazing. So you guys are making good strides, and I really do appreciate your efforts. Okay, John said not to call the day before. Yes, John Ray did say that. I'm telling you, I'm going to tell you right now, it's been effective when we've done it before. So let's go ahead and do the pre-calls. Let's go back to doing those. It seems to be working. I talked to George and asked him how he is doing this 100%, and that's exactly what he's doing. So I'm going outside the box here and saying that that's what we want to do. Oh, John just piped in and said, John Ray did say make the call. John, you're on the line. Nice to see you, buddy.
Yes,
He's
sir.
in Colorado.
Okay.
You're a little low.
All right, I'll probably have to jump on the phone. I'm sitting in here in the restaurant, so I'll pipe in
Right
here a
on.
little
Well,
bit
I'm glad
later
you're
toward
able
the
to
end.
hop on.
Yep.
So, yeah, I know you did send out that email, and I know we had that directive before not to make the calls because they were wanting customer service to do that. But yeah, so we were going to go back to making those calls, correct?
Absolutely. It's proven to pay off, especially if we can catch them the day before and find out they don't want it or they want to reschedule, then we can get them taken off the schedule.
Mm-hmm. Which makes sure that we do it. So there you go, straight from the Jefe's mouth. Right there. Let's go ahead and start doing that. Let's see here. The other thing, and like I said, it can do nothing but help. So let's see here. Next thing I want to talk about is MPS. We are kicking butt in MPS right now. We are doing really, really good. But they're still working on the dashboard so we can take a look at everything. Right now we have a team score, but we don't have it broken down by FSP, and we can't look at what the individual, what the comments are or stuff. So I promise you it's something that's brought up at every Monday phone call, and it's something that Brett keeps pounding him. He says at least once a day he goes ahead, hey, how are we doing on this dashboard, on the dashboard, on the dashboard? So they're working on it. All we have is raw data, so that's what they're compiling, but right now we have no definite stuff on that. All I'm going to say is encourage people to take it. Make it a goal to get at least 10 responses a month on your record. On average, previous months, we averaged about anywhere from 1 to 5 per FSP. So it would really be a huge step up, and I don't think it'd do anything but help us to have you guys shoot for 12, shoot for 10, shoot for 10. Your customers appreciate you. Your customers like you. So let's get those. Let's encourage them and ask them very, very nicely to take that test for us. That would be awesome. Was there anything in particular that you guys wanted to go over?
I have a couple questions. Probably could have been asked a while ago. But first of all, is there any kind of rumor as to when we'll actually get to use our iPads for what they're for?
Are you talking about the digital contracts?
Yeah.
No, we haven't gotten word exactly yet when that's happening. That also has been a recurring question. Have we had any update on that, John?
Yeah, was everybody invited to the town hall? Because David Bywater spoke a little bit about on that. I don't know if you caught that, Mario, but we already have some of that in the works. Not in our area yet, but it's coming around. We keep saying it won't be long, and it's just around the corner. So we'll see what happens.
There you go. Yeah, I know I mentioned it, but yeah, but there was nothing as far as a drop dead date as to when we were going to happen. So that's why I was wondering what anything had been.
Okay. And then one other thing I just wanted to bring to your attention, and I'll start providing examples because there will be some. But I think about 4 times in the last 2 weeks, I've seen the exact same story of calling a customer to go over their house, and they had never actually been set up with an appointment by scheduling. It was just put on the schedule. And every single time they said they were talking to scheduling, and then scheduling said they would call them back and set up an appointment, but they never called them back. They just put it on the schedule.
I've had that happen with me too.
Same.
Yeah, and I know Jimmy's had that happen as well. So, yeah, when those happen, yeah, let's absolutely get those to me so I can march them up.
Yep.
Also,
one more thing. I'm just curious if everyone else is having the same issue. With DW10s, there's pretty much, like, in a box of 20 that you get, on average, I'd say about 4 of them are completely defective right out of the box. Is anyone else running into that?
Yep.
That's in the BCE.
Yeah, we had an email about that a little bit ago.
Yeah, so we discussed that, right? So if you're getting stuff defective right out of the box, let me go back to that slide here real quick. There it was. Here's what you want to do. If it's bad out of the box right away, take a picture of that QG sticker, send that email to these 3 people, right? Rebecca Schwindeman, Brett Moulton, and Justin McClellan, and then email the equipment back. But
what if it's not
been certified?
Oh,
because it's normal equipment. It's not certified. It's actual, just normal equipment.
Yeah, we're talking about brand new. Yeah.
Okay, is it a specific piece of equipment? Like has it been a bad run?
Well, a while back, glass brakes. A while back, glass brakes. I were getting always red low battery, even if they weren't. I got a lot of those, but now I'm literally every box of DW10s brand new. Like, they just don't learn in. The reed switch doesn't work, but the tamper works on it. The only thing that works on it is the tamper.
Tamper and the loop ones work. Yeah, it's like I get like 6 or 7 out of the box that don't work.
Okay. According to Ralph here, Ralph just sent some. Oh yeah, that's right. I sent out an email for this, so there was an email sent out, and I filled out a survey for that, for the number of broken per box. So, is it literally like everything coming out of the box?
It's at least a good 15-20%, and it's, I guess, apparently there was a change in companies manufacturing them, and you can tell by the serial number on the back of it, that when you put this tape on the back of it, it covers it up. It used to not. The serial number used to be high enough that you could still see it even with the tape on it. And apparently all these new ones that are defective are from this newer manufacturer.
Okay. Interesting. So,
There was an email that came out, I think it was from Brett, and it was asking exactly about the DW10s that we're talking about, and we did a survey, at least I did, about how many per box. Did anyone else get that survey?
I think I did that survey as well.
And I think it was pertaining to exactly what you're talking about, Jesse. Hopefully they're moving that along, but I'm pretty sure it's all of us getting them, and you're exactly right with the new manufacturer.
So, and Jonathan saying he's had both new and old manufacturer.
I did. I remember getting a few before it changed, but ever since they've changed, it's gotten pretty out of hand.
Okay, so yeah, let's run those up, and obviously we're going to want to get those moved over to bat and returned as soon as possible. When you do get those, please give me the order number, right, and the number of bad ones you have. I would say at this point, best practice would be when you get DW10s, let's learn them in and see if they're working, and kind of try to be proactive about it. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Hey, Mario, this is J Mart. I also wanted to let you know that did have an issue yesterday. I gave J1 an HD 100 camera, and when I went in there to transfer it, it doesn't have it under the list for things I can transfer. I couldn't find it under regular equipment or special order.
But was it an HD 100?
Yeah, it's the cameras that we can only use for Go controls.
Yeah, I know the ones you're talking about.
Yeah, so that's an issue that you should know about.
So I need to, okay, and it was an HD 100. Okay, let me see if I can find it, and once I find it, I need to transfer one from you to him.
He ended up not using it, so he gave it back, but it's just a thing that if we do need to transfer it, we need to have a way.
Yeah, I'll see if I can't find out where it's hidden at.
Cool.
I just transferred one to Luis the other day. It let me transfer.
Where did you find it? Because it's usually under 2 gig dash cam HD 100, and it's not showing up on the list. I just showed Mortensen, and he can confirm it that it's not showing it on mine at least.
That's where it showed on mine. That's how I transferred it to him.
Yeah, I can screenshot it. We'll see.
Okay.
Interesting. That's all I can say. Interesting. That is odd to me. But, and not so odd, I guess. It seems odd. I don't know. Yeah, I'll take a look and see what I can see if I can find it. If I can't find it, then I will let you know, and we'll figure out where to go from there. Let's see here. Next thing. There we go. Sorry about that. I had it paused. Y'all can still see my screen, right?
I don't see anything. Oh, it's loading.
Loading.
I can see it now.
Okay. Says thank you.
Yep.
Oh, didn't mean to do that. Boom. These are there. Okay. A couple other things that I want to go over here. Stuff for Santa. Everybody got that probably about a month ago and stuff, so hopefully everybody kind of made the contributions and stuff. It's not used to canned, so they're taking a look at doing this a little bit differently, and John, feel free to jump in if I misspeak or say things wrong here. So one of the things that they're wanting to do this year is, and once again, it's a logistic thing, right? Last year we were able to raise the most, and we had Chris and Ben come down, and Kyle, and they filmed us shopping and everything like that. One of the disheartening things about was the fact that we weren't able to get everybody from the team to be able to come out and do have the whole team over there to help as we did the shopping and wrapped everything and took it to Joy Junction and all of that fun stuff. The good news is I think we ended up providing Christmas for, what was it, like 60-some kids, John? something like that, or anybody who was there?
No, it was a lot, Mario. Honestly, I don't remember the exact number.
But I know we were busy wrapping for a while, and we filled up 2 pickup trucks full of stuff. So it really helped out a lot for those people over there, and I think you all know how near and dear Joy Junction is to my heart. So once again, I appreciate everybody's contribution to that. So the way that they were looking at doing it this year was to make it possible for us to go to take these donations and find people within the Vivint family that are struggling and stuff, and helping provide a Christmas for them. So I think that that's also a very worthwhile and cool cause. It's kind of nice to be able to take care of our own when they're in need. And I think they're looking at making it an option so we can do either or. Is that correct, John?
Yeah, I mean, when we were having this discussion, you know, besides your team and like Nick's team, who have a dedicated organization that, you know, you guys like to work with, I think throughout field service as a whole, a lot of the teams don't, you know, they haven't went out there to find somebody that they can, you know, call their family and sponsor. So when this was posed to me last week, you know, as an option and what are our thoughts about it, you know, right away I was thinking about Joy Junction and Nick's group that he does for a shelter. And so, you know, there'll be exceptions. You know, I'll leave it up to you guys to make a decision what you want to do. You know, if there's a family within your group that, you know, you want to nominate or feels had a rough go at it this year, a lot of, you know, that's kind of what we're looking at, families that are been having hard times or whatever, you know, just things piled up. But yeah, we'll leave it up to you. I know how much you guys care about Joy Junction, and you know that was the other point Mario had mentioned, is that, you know, we want to make sure you guys get the time to actually go out there and, you know, kind of close the loop on that. You sat there and donated all those funds, but yet a lot of you didn't get the time, you know, had to work and didn't get to see it, you know, and that's really when it kicks in. So yeah, we'll leave it up to your team to make that decision what you want to do, Mario.
All right. So I'll be reaching out to you guys, and we'll come to a consensus as a team as to what we want to do and how we want to do that. So once again, if any of you guys know of anybody teaching stuff like that, anything we do or talk about or anything like that, we can keep it completely anonymous. I don't have a problem with that. But if there's, you know, one of your brethren there that have been struggling or anything like that that you know about, go ahead and mention it. And like I said, as we discuss it as a team, I'll just simply say, yeah, there's one of us that could use it, and we'll keep it as low down as we can. And if not, then we'll go ahead and see what we do about finding a charitable organization. Again, do that. Let's see here. What else? The new packages. Almost forgot about the new packages. We have a new package out. I know I sent the email about it before, but I want to remind everybody. New package is called the Basic Starter Package. The reason they created this was to have a more competitive price point. The details of this one are pretty simple. It's $39.99 a month. It comes with 5 points of equipment. There's a $99 activation fee, and there is a $399 installation fee that is not waivable. They are predicting that only 5% of customers call in and stuff will want to take this offer. The intention is, right, to go ahead and get them into a more robust package. However, these are live, so you will start seeing them. They will say basic starter on the install note. That is the type of install it is. So, if you get one of these installs and you go over there to that house, and once you do your walkthrough and stuff, chances are they're going to want to upgrade at least, right, to the next one up. When you call in to change the package, you'll have to ask them. Account creations has already been scripted to ask, but just in case, be sure you're prepared to ask them to waive the $399 installation fee. Okay? That's very, very important. And that's probably one of the biggest selling points to why they would want to upgrade to a more robust package. Is it will save them $400 right now. Okay? As far as the commission for upgrading them to another package, they haven't finalized that yet, but financial's working on that. But be prepared to start seeing those basic safety packages. So like I said, $39.99 a month, 60-month contract, and $399 installation fee, $399. So those of you who remember the failed credit installations, relatively similar to that, where there was just a much higher upfront cost, but a lower RMR. Any questions about that package? Nada? Okay. Well, I want to go back real quick here and do a quick review over a lot of stuff because we went over a lot of stuff. You know me, a lot of stuff in a short period of time. Daily install rate. We're over the 90s, which is awesome. Like I said, it's first time ever, and we want to stay up there. We want to even make that number go up higher. So pre-calls, look ahead on your schedule, see what you got. Make sure we're prepared for those. Make your pre-calls the night before on those installs. Make sure they're ready for us. And go. That will make our numbers go up greatly. So let's go ahead and start implementing that today. And let's ride that horse to the top. Vivint certified usage. We're kicking butt on this as well, so keep it up. Whenever possible, do it. some of you guys have noticed also, I've been sending out an email. They're sending out Vivint certified cell units now. Make sure that when you are using those, make sure on the ticket notes you should also always say 2G to 3G migration on it to swap out the cell unit. I've noticed that on a ton of ticket notes. So whenever possible, use a Vivint certified cell unit. Everybody on the team should have at least one on hand, and honestly, it should be a 7-day supply. So if you're in an area where there's a lot of sunsetting 2G towers, such as, I don't know, Albuquerque, Hobbs, Roswell, Carlsbad, Clovis, yeah. So basically everywhere where we operate, with very few exceptions, they're asking that you have a 7-day supply on hand. If you're not getting those, let me know. If you have none, or you have not received any VCE cell units, let me know. I will reach out to Tyler and we'll make sure that we get you some. A lot of these are sunsetting and they're sunsetting fast. There are still some units out there that have T-Mobile cell units. If you come across one of those, do not swap it out unless it is not communicating. If you have no communication, obviously go ahead and swap it out. But if it's still communicating, leave it. We don't have a plan right now for that swap out. And quite honestly, it's not budgeted yet. So if the unit's still working, it's still operational, leave it alone. Right now, this is only the AT&Ts that are sunsetting, the 2G to 3G. So that needs to be our main point of concentration. Questions on that? Okay, perfect. So let's see, good. We got that taken care of. First time service rate. Again, we're at like 84.5-something% on our first time service rate. We need to get that above the 90. I sent out that report last week. You're going to be getting another report here shortly with what the second calls were for. Like I said, I know there are going to be those that are going to be unavoidable. Everybody knows that, but surely 15% aren't all unavoidable return trips. Please start using your training apps on the iPad. Like I said before, when just the trainers were using it, the overall regional calls went down 2%. If we all start using those training videos, it should drop that down at least, I'm going to say, what, there's 16 of us, so 32%. So 32% of the 15% drops it down to 7, which takes us up into the 90. So I think those training apps can do nothing but help us out a great, great deal. Watch them, learn them, love them. Remember also that that is a new post-install survey question is, did you watch the video that had to do with how to get customer support, right? And the support.vivint.com video. So make sure that you're using those videos, showing them to your customers, making them feel all warm and fuzzy about what they're going to watch. And we'll go ahead and track and see how that affects our first-time service rate. NPS, once again, as soon as we can get hard data, I'll be getting that out to you guys so we can know exactly what our customers are saying and what they're doing. I can tell you I have received 3 phone calls in the last 2 weeks from customers complimenting me on the level of service they have received. I got one about Luis, just saying what a wonderful, wonderful man he was. And that was from a customer in Alamogordo. It was really awesome. I mean, she literally bent my ear for 5 minutes about how awesome Luis was and how glad she was that he's the one who came to the house, and how lucky I was to have somebody like Luis on my team, and how lucky Vivint was to have somebody like Luis on, you know, as an employee. And it was really, really sweet to hear that. I woke up day before yesterday morning, and I had a voicemail from somebody who had called my phone at 4 o'clock in the morning and left me a 2-minute message about what a wonderful individual Ralph Himes was, how nice he was, how friendly, how helpful, how conscientious, and how much he really, really cared about her and her system. So I thought that was awesome. I would have loved to have talked to her, but it was 4 o'clock in the morning, and so I was unconscious. And it looks like, so, I mean, you know, that's what makes me love what I do, is when I get to get calls like that, seeing what an awesome job you guys are doing. That pumps me up and makes me want to work even harder. So thank you guys for doing that. Like I said, encourage your customers to take those surveys. I know they love you. Like I said, we're doing good on our NPS score overall, but you know, we want to do even better if we can. We always want to do better, and the best way for that to show is to get those customers who are calling, those customers who are writing, to actually take that survey so we can quantify it, and it shows up on the stats. Inventory. Once again, like I said, this has been our latest thing. So once again, you spoke, I listened. New inventory thing right now, I understand and I agree with you guys. Friday is your busiest day. It is an install priority day, and I have yet to see a Friday where we're not jam-packed and full. So going forward, and I know you weren't on when we had this discussion, John, so I will tell you, our new policy is going to be, as far as reconciliations, everybody is going to get me the day that they are going to reconcile. I'm going to create a reminder that everybody get it done on that particular day.
I think John's off, boss.
Oh, okay.
He left.
All right. So, but anyway, that's what we're going to do, right? So make sure you guys get me that. A couple of you guys already have. I know Luis and Jonathan already sent me their day, and I'm good with that. I'll get that reminder set up, and you guys will do it. And I am going to ask that you guys do me a favor. This next time that you guys do it, and you guys actually, no, never mind. I'm not going to do it. I got to do this a different way. So I'll be talking to you guys individually on this. Let's see while I'm doing that. And also, yeah, make sure you guys are using the your iPads on the inventory as well, and using that add pool by account so you can make sure everything's done in real time. The faster we can nip this stuff in the bud, the fewer errors we will get. Also, yeah, like I asked you before, if you guys are getting those emails, I know Jaime got it to me when he had his warning and stuff. Get me those get me that information. I have no problem taking the fight. You know, fighting the fight sports. I'll do it all day, every day, with a smile on my face. But I need the data, so make sure you get me the data, and I will do it, and I'll take care of it. Same thing with service calls where the appointment wasn't set. If you do those pre-calls, we can get them off your schedule. It's going to help our first-time service rate, right? So if they're not there, so they're not going to be available and stuff like that, yeah, let's get off your schedule before you even put yourself in travel or anything like that. Let's get off your schedule so it doesn't affect that first-time service rate. If it's happening, you know, 4 times or at least twice a week, I know that's what Mortensen said. That's 2. If that's happening to all of you guys, that's 2 times 16. That's 32 calls a week that shouldn't even be on our schedule. There's 32 calls a week that shouldn't be on our schedule. That's what, 128 a month service calls that shouldn't be on our schedule. That's a lot. That's going to do nothing but help our numbers as well. So get me that information so I can get it up so we can make sure that scheduling is doing their job, right, and helping us out. Looks like I'm going to be on the phone and emails a lot more, but that's good. I want to get these problems ironed out and fixed and corrected so we can lower the frustration level for you guys right there. Late starts, what can I say? You know, you guys are doing a good job as far as that goes. I got no complaints at all. Safety, once again, weather's starting to turn crappy. I'll send you guys a picture of my front yard as soon as we get off this call. It's white. I can't wait. Looks like ski areas will be opening on time this year. And it looks like we'll be able to measure total snowfall in yards, not just feet. So that's also awesome. Anybody have any questions? Queries? Concerns? Nothing. All right, look at that, an entire hour early. And we went over everything we need to go over. That is freaking awesome. All right, guys, I'm going to get this deck out to you guys so you guys can reference it. Once again, remember to communicate with me, right? Let me know what you guys need, what I can do to help you, and let's make this happen. All right? Y'all have a good day. Be safe out there. Like I said, the weather's getting ready to turn crappy. Keep your head on a swivel. Drive safe. Have a good one. Bye.